that thing that 5 years ago somebody told you that you can't do. You can do it now. So how can we shrug off negativity and get on with the things we want to do? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi everyone, my name is Althea. It is lovely to have you here and I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. So what I want to talk to you today is about negativity and its impact on us as human beings, its impact on us on our behavior, its impact on how we relate to the things around us, how do we relate to our lives so we can move forward. It's not always easy to just shrug things off and move on. For many of us, ignoring negativity is something that is very hard to do. It's not always easy to do. And we all know of the detrimental impact a negative comment can have on our psyche. It can lead us to the most self-destructive of behaviors. It can freeze us in our thinking and our doing. And it just has this way of committing us to a life of mediocrity. And before you know it, there's a series of just broken promises and broken dreams. On the flip side, negativity has a positive way about it. Funny enough, it can cause you to be more motivated to do what you want to do. It gives us an opportunity to evaluate our choices in life, evaluate our behaviors. It motivates us to implement improvement objectives in our lives. I know it certainly did that for me, but it can hold us back. So how do we deal with that? In my experience, the fact that I was making excuses for not doing what I want to do was because of that negative comment. It just literally stopped me in my tracks. We all respond to things differently, so that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Hi everybody, my name is Althea. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I make videos about helping people go after the life they think they cannot have. And that is from my personal experiences. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, support the channel, would really appreciate it. So let's get right onto the video. So the first one is to take some time to think about what they've just said. There's an old saying, time heals all wounds. You will find that after time, you will start feeling better about it. You may not be totally over it, but you will start feeling better about it. What will happen is your brain, and that's coming from Charles Duhigg's Power of Habits, your brain will start processing what's happened and it will come up with ways to help you deal with it. By thinking about it and just putting it through some sort of thought process, you will find that you will start finding ways to better deal with it. The feelings won't go away. You won't be changed overnight, but you will find ways to dealing with it. It's always good to step back from a situation and think first before reacting, because there's this whole instant reaction thing that is not always very good for us. And it's usually not the way we want to react if we had thought about it. Charles Duhigg, in his book, The Power of Habits, he talked about how our brain is constantly creating scenarios for us to help us deal with situations. He talked about the critical elements of how our brain behaves when we're trying to develop a habit. My opinion is, if you are constantly reacting, knee-jerking when somebody says something negative towards you, that's a habit you will cultivate, and it won't work. It's just eventually you'll just get worse and worse and worse because you are cultivating this negative habit towards the way people behave towards you. And all that will do is just give you a habit that eventually that's the only way you'll behave. Every time somebody says something, you behave the same way. You'll be like clockwork. You know, people will even be able to predict your behavior because of a negative comment. So take some time to think about it. Take some time to think about what happened, internalize it, and then decide what you're going to do about it. The second one is, take some time to think about where the person is coming from. Understand why the person made that comment, where they are coming from, why are they making that comment. Just take some time to think about the person. This one, it's all about forgiveness. The Bible talks about forgiveness. Take some time to understand the person. The person may be just a negative person. They may be a horrible person, not very nice person. They may have their own imposter syndrome, limiting belief systems that they're reflecting on you, but they can also be someone who's had trauma. They can also be someone who has come from a very difficult background, and negativity is all they know. That's all they've been given, that's all they've been taught. And I suppose you have an opportunity here to practice your forgiveness. That's an opportunity for you to practice forgiving someone, practice understanding somebody else's perspective, even when you think they're wrong, because that's the true test. Yeah, so take some time to understand where the person is coming from. The third one is keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the things that you're doing. Do not let the fact that you heard something negative stop you from doing what you're doing. You know your talents, you know your gifts, you know your skills, you know that you are capable of doing something. Keep doing it. Mastery only comes when you're doing something over and over and over, and it's something I took way too much time to learn. What you are doing is, if you keep doing it, you'll get where you need to go. And funny enough, you deal with that negativity in that way. So instead of commenting about it or talking to the person about it, you just prove them wrong. Now, you don't want a strategy where all you're doing is trying to prove people wrong by just, somebody says something and you just go ahead and do it just to prove them wrong. The idea is that don't let it stop you. That's the biggest thing with negativity for me. It's not that I get upset and I go, off the rail. I just freeze and I don't continue on. And I've worked very hard at coming out of that behavior. Don't let that behavior keep you, because even if a year from now, 2 years from now, that somebody told you something negative that have stopped you, you can still start. You could still start over. That thing that 5 years ago somebody told you that you can't do, you can do it now. Even if you froze 5 years ago and 5 years later you're still here, you can still start it now. Identify that the fact that somebody told you that you couldn't do that, that is what stopped you. Because that's what I had to do when my friend told me about my business. That's what I had to do. I had to realize, why? The only reason why I haven't been doing my business is because this person has said something to me that's really stopped me. I haven't got upset, I haven't responded to the person, but for some reason I can't seem to do the thing that the person told me that I cannot do. And it's just got into your head and you're just stuck. Don't let yourself be stuck. Keep doing what you're doing. If you are a person of faith, you will know that there's a scripture that says in the Bible, you can do all things for Christ who strengthens you. So if you know that, if you are a person of faith and you believe in that scripture and you believe that what it says is you have the strength in you to do it. Even if somebody tells you can't do it, you have the strength inside of you, living in you to do it. You have the necessary skills. And if you master those skills, if you keep going on with those skills, you can get to where you want to get. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Practice positive thinking. Just practice being positive. I cannot stress enough how much telling yourself that I am good enough, that I can do this. Even if somebody said to me, you can't do this, you have to tell yourself I can. That is so important to achieving what you want to achieve. I am talking from experience. If you knew where I come from, I wouldn't be here today. Where I came from, I probably should not be alive, really. But it's because I keep telling myself that I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Now, I may not do it perfect, I may not do it right, but I can do it. And you know what? Sometimes you don't achieve your exact goals, but there's a lot of learning that's happening along the way, and you have moved from one place to the next. And that in itself is an achievement. You have moved, because life is a journey, really. It's not a conquest, it's a journey. If you think about it, it's a journey. Every time you have one win, there's another win to have. So to me, even if you didn't achieve that goal that you were going through, the fact that you got to here is an achievement. You can't tell me that a second place Olympian on a podium didn't achieve something. That is an achievement itself. And the final one is reflect on how far you've come. You know what you've done. You know what you've achieved. You know how hard you've been working for something. You know your gifts, you know your talent, you know who you are authentic, you are genuine, you're not trying to do anything that is hurtful, spiteful. You know that about yourself. So reflect on who you are, reflect on where you've come from, reflect on your perspective, your experiences. And that reflection will help you deal with negativity, because what will happen is that you will end up knowing who you are. If you think back to how far you've come, you'd know that you have achieved a lot. If you think about where you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago to where you are now, you'd probably say, I have achieved a lot. Now, it may be that now, that's my friend calling. Now, it may be that you may not have achieved a lot, but you have moved forward. Think about what you probably have had to do, or you've 10 years down the line, you would have moved from point A to point B. It may not be a huge jump, it may not be where you want to be, but you would have moved. There's always some kind of positive from a movement from A to point B. There is always and if that is your starting point, that is your starting point. If that's where you want to start from there. Start from there. This is how I'm going to deal with negativity. I'm going to start from where I am. Start from what you have and where you are. Start from there and take it forward. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me go on and on. Thank you for watching my channel. I just want to say, if you want to support this very small channel, I'm looking for 10 people to 10 people to subscribe to my channel. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. If you like this video, there's more of that and probably better videos. Hit the like button. I'd really love to know what you think. I would love to hear your stories on how you've dealt with it. You probably have strategies on your own and ways that you've dealt with it, or even if you have a story that you think can help somebody, put a comment, share it so it can impact on somebody else's lives. Let's get this exponential love going. And so thank you guys for being here. I'll keep with my normal mantra and say once again, thank you so much and have an extremely positive day. Bye guys. See you in my next video. This one is reflect on how far you've come. Think about what you've done.